The Autism Material Hub, the Hybrid Intervention at Home model, is a sophisticated digital ecosystem designed to transform autism therapy by integrating mobile technology, hyper-personalized digital twins, HPDT, and virtual shadow teachers. The framework prioritizes neurosafety and micro-interventions, breaking down traditional hours-long therapy into manageable, data-driven sessions that empower parents to become primary co-interveners. By utilizing Neo4j graph databases and AI-driven simulation, the system predicts behavioral triggers and tracks progress across a three-dimensional measurement layer involving the child, the parent, and the virtual assistant. Ultimately, this source outlines a strategic blueprint for standardizing and exporting automated intervention tools to reduce reliance on scarce human resources while fostering a global hub for neurodivergent education.
Today, we're going to explore two wildly different but, equally revolutionary frontiers in autism support. One is happening in a tiny petri dish, literally rewriting the building blocks of life. The other, it's happening on a mobile phone, and it's completely reinventing what a classroom can be. All right, let's get into it. To really get what's at stake here, we have to start with this quote. It's from Dr. Alison Moutry, a scientist who's also the father of a child with autism. And it just cuts right to the heart of the matter, highlighting this silent, incredibly vulnerable population at the center of one of these huge scientific quests. But before we dive into the new solutions, we really need to understand the landscape. Because autism, well, it's not just one thing. It's a massive spectrum. And that means the needs can be worlds apart. So here's the crucial point. On one end, you have the neurodiversity movement, which is all about inclusion, acceptance, and celebrating differences for high-functioning folks. But on the other end, for what's now being called profound autism, the day-to-day reality is constant, 24/7 care. These are individuals who need significant support for even their most basic needs. So the goals here can be fundamentally different. And the therapies we're about to talk about, they're aimed squarely at this group. Okay, so let's jump into our first frontier. This is a journey deep into the biological source code, specifically for forms of autism linked to a known genetic syndrome. The big question is, can we get in there and correct it? And the tool for this incredible journey is gene therapy. So what is that really? Well, put simply, it's a medical strategy. The whole idea is to fix a faulty gene inside a cell, with the ultimate hope of getting that cell to function normally again. But how on earth do you do that in a living brain? It's this really fascinating kind of sci-fi three-step process. First, scientists isolate a healthy, correct version of a gene that's gone wrong. Then, and this is the clever part, they package that good gene inside a totally harmless virus. You can think of the virus as like a microscopic delivery drone. And finally, that little drone travels to the brain cells and delivers its precious cargo, the corrected gene. This, of course, leads to a massive, massive challenge. I mean, think about it. You can't just test a therapy that alters the human brain directly on a person, right? The risks are just way, way too high. So how do scientists run a safety check? Well, the solution is just a stunning piece of science. It's called a brain organoid. And honestly, the best way to think of it is as a flight simulator for gene therapy. It's a safe place to test everything out before it ever gets near an actual human patient. And the power of this technology is, well, it's mind-blowing. These organoids are grown from a patient's own cells. They're tiny, only about half a centimeter wide, but get this. They contain millions of neurons, and they can actually mimic the early stages of how a human brain develops. This lets scientists see exactly how a therapy is going to affect human brain cells, all in a dish. And the results? They've been breathtaking. In the lab, using these organoids from patients with conditions like Pitt-Hopkins and Rett syndrome, this gene therapy approach has actually worked. It successfully corrected cellular defects. The flight simulator worked. And that, right there, opens the door for future clinical trials in people. Okay, now for our second frontier. We're going to do a complete 180 here. We're shifting from the microscopic world of genetics to the digital world of AI-powered education. And this is all about solving a completely different, but just as important, set of problems. This comparison really shows you the fundamental shift we're talking about. Traditional special ed often relies on a teacher's observations, with learning plans maybe getting updated once a semester. This new AI approach, it pulls in real-time biometric data, think heart rate, skin conductivity, from wearable sensors to adjust a lesson in under 3 seconds. It's a total move from reacting after a crisis to actively predicting and preventing one. The engine driving all of this is something called the Personalized Digital Twin, or PDT. So what is it? It's basically a virtual copy of a child's cognitive and biological state, and it's built from a constant stream of all that sensor data. It effectively becomes a digital translator, giving us a window into the internal world of a child who might be nonverbal. And its predictive power is an absolute game changer. By analyzing all that biometric data, the PDT can give a 3 to 5 minute warning before a potential sensory overload happens. Now, for a parent or a teacher, that is everything. That's enough time to change the environment and maybe prevent that crisis altogether. This amazing technology is being put into practice through something called the HYBRIC model. What it does is combine the child's digital twin with an AI virtual teacher and the parent, all connected together through a single app on a phone. And the principles behind it are a major shift. First, neurosafety is the #1 priority, avoiding overstimulation at all costs. Those long, often stressful therapy sessions are gone, replaced with lots of short, focused micro-interventions throughout the day. And crucially, the AI actually empowers and trains parents to become effective co-therapists, with every single interaction tracked to measure real, data-driven progress. What this creates is a really powerful ecosystem. Right at the center of it all is the child's own data, that digital twin, and that informs the AI teacher, which in turn empowers the parent. All of them are working together to prepare the child for better integration into the real world. So here we have these two very, very different frontiers, one genetic, one digital. But here's the amazing thing. They are both pointing toward the exact same hyper-personalized future. The scale is completely different, but the philosophy is identical. It's all about moving away from a one-size-fits-all approach to one that is totally unique to the individual. Whether that means rewriting the DNA inside a cell or rewriting a daily lesson plan in a matter of seconds. And that, at the end of the day, is the ultimate goal here. The future isn't about finding one single cure or one single app that works for everybody. No, it's about creating a completely unique, hyper-personalized map for every single person. So when we step back, what does all this mean? There are really 3 big ideas to hang on to. First, gene therapy, tested on these incredible brain organoids, offers real, tangible hope for profound, syndromic forms of autism. Second, AI and these digital twins are making education proactive and predictive, instead of just reactive. And finally, both of these paths, as different as they are, lead to a future that's going to be defined by deep, radical personalization. Which leaves us with one final and really crucial question. As these incredible tools start to become a reality, the next great challenge won't just be a scientific one, it's going to be a social one. How do we make sure that every single person who needs one of these maps actually gets one?